Today we are talking about the topic of cardio yet again. So there are more things to be discussed about the dreaded C word. Yes, it is cardio. Most people hate it. Most people want to do it, but most people think that it's the way to progress their fat loss, to get to that leaner, healthier body. Now, we've covered already that maybe that's not the best approach, and maybe it's a case of focusing more on your nutrition, less on a bunch of cardio, less on sweating your ass off on a treadmill, and more about controlling your nutrition, focusing in on that, and using your training as a means to sculpt the lean, healthier body that you really, really want. So we're not going to talk about that again. We're not going to be like your ex-girlfriend or your ex-partner, girlfriend in my case, who maybe recovers old ground. Even though you feel like you've moved forward, they just dredge up what you've already been spoken about millions and millions of times. But less about my bitter and twisted experience in relationships and more about cardio. So when we come to cardiovascular work as a means to maybe help us to increase that calorie deficit so that we can keep fat loss going. So maybe you're further into this process, you don't really want to cut more calories out of your diet. You just want to increase that calorie burn a little bit more. And cardio seems like the logical choice. You've gone down the route of trying to change lifestyle, increase step count, all of those different sorts of things. Now cardio is the tool in the toolbox that you want to take out and use. Cool, that's awesome. Likewise, if cardio is something that you absolutely love, yes, you are a sadist, yes, you are slightly mental, but okay, I'm welcoming you into the bosom of this particular training, and I'm talking to you as well. Now, the question here is then, when should you do that cardio? Is there an optimal time at which you should actually carry out your cardio? Whether it is going on the treadmill, doing a HIIT workout, whether it's sprinting on an exercise bike, Stairmaster, whatever it is your poison of choice, is there an optimal time for you to do that cardio? Or is it just largely irrelevant? Does it even matter? Should you just not care less? Should you just do whatever you want? So we're going to cover that in this particular training today. Now, it might be a super, super quick episode. We don't know. We're just going to carry on and see where we get to. It might be super quick because, let's face it, we can make this short and sweet. Now, the key thing to remember is, what is your priority? What is your goal from this whole process? What is it you are trying to achieve? And this is the question you should ask yourself when you're thinking about most different things, whether it's nutrition, whether it's training, whether it's this cardio sort of question, is what is it you're trying to achieve? Because everything should be channeled towards that. If you're doing something because you just kind of think that's what you should do, but actually it's not optimum for your goal, then you're really doing yourself a disservice. So when it comes to the timing of your cardio, think about what is your priority. And again, when we come back to what we said at the beginning, is that nutrition is your primary focus for losing weight and losing fat, and your training, your weight training, is your primary focus for sculpting a leaner, healthier, more badass body. That's what you're kind of striving for. So therefore, cardio is this sort of third element in that equation that you're doing just to increase a little bit of calorie burn. In most cases, it might be there to increase health as well, but let's assume we're going for an aesthetic goal here. So therefore, it's just to increase a little bit of calorie burn. Therefore, out of the three different component parts we've just discussed, is probably the third in terms of the most important. Therefore, everything else should be a priority. So focusing on your nutrition should be a priority, focusing on your weight training should be a priority, and therefore cardio comes up a little bit of a lagging behind third spot. Now, what does that mean in practical terms? So let's say, for example, you're going into the gym, you're going to do a weight training session and you're going to do some cardio. Should you do the cardio before or should you do the cardio after your weight training? Again, the priority is not the cardio. Therefore, you should do the weight session first because that's your priority. Just think about, you're feeling refreshed, you're feeling energized, you walk into the gym, you want to use that energy where it's going to be of most benefit. And that is getting your ass under the squat rack. It's going to be bench pressing whatever PB weight that you want to lift and eking out those few extra reps so that you're actually progressing, all that progressive overload stuff, which is all good and fine. So you want to channel your energy into that, and then you want to tag on your cardio at the end. That would be if you are doing it in the same session. If you are doing it like in completely different sessions, so for example, let's say you're going to the gym to do weights and then you're going to go out for a run, or you've got an exercise bike at home like I have, then you're going to split those sessions up. So when should you do those? Now, this kind of doesn't really make too much difference, I would say. It really comes down to at what point of the day is doing your cardio most likely to mean that you're actually going to get it done. So for me, that's usually first thing in the morning. If I can do it first thing in the morning, I'm more likely to get it done. When it comes to 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, when I've finished work, I really can't be fucked to jump on an exercise bike, even though it is in my house and I don't have to go anywhere. It's not really going to be something that I do. You may be completely different. You may say, well, I just can't get up and do cardio first thing in the morning. I need sleep. I need to be woken up with bucket loads of coffee or whatever. And you're more likely to do your cardio when you get home in the evening. Cool, do that. So there's no absolute benefit to doing fasted cardio over fed cardio. So me getting up in the morning and doing my cardio probably fasted, I'm doing that not because I think fasted cardio is going to burn more fat or it's going to give me any more benefit. It's more to do with the fact that I will get it done. And I don't feel comfortable, or I don't like to do sort of cardio after just eating. So I just don't like that feeling. Again, it's nothing to do with fat loss. It's nothing to do with anything like that. It's just a case of that's how I prefer it. So I would take maybe some essential amino acids. You don't have to do that, but that's what I would do, just for just protecting against any sort of muscle breakdown. Not that it would be a huge issue. And then that's when I get the cardio done. So it really comes back to, when do you feel like you can optimally do that to fit into your lifestyle? Because the most important thing is that if you've gone down this route of you want to do cardio, or you're going to have to do cardio, then it's about fitting it into your lifestyle and getting it done. It's not about, if I do it at this time of day, I'm going to burn 1 extra calorie than if I did it 10 minutes later. It's just not that much of a difference. It's just not worth worrying about. And fasted over fed cardio is no different. So all of the bros out there that tell you you're going to burn a huge amount of fat because you're depleted on carbohydrates, your body's just going to use fat for fuel first thing in the morning, it's all just a little bit of horseshit. So just ignore that. If fasted cardio works for you, cool, go do that. If it doesn't work for you, cool, go do something else. Just make sure you get it done. So that's really about it. That you don't really need to overthink when you should do cardio any more than that. So the summary of this is, do what works for you as primary importance, and that goes for pretty much anything. Make sure that if you are doing it in the same session, you prioritize what's most important to you. So if that is weights, which probably for most of you it will be, make sure you do that first, then supplement with the cardio after. So I hope that answers your questions on this particular topic. And now you're pretty much clear on how much flexibility you have in terms of when you do your cardio. Yes, I can't give you a super sexy answer that says, oh yeah, if you do it at 5:05 in the evening, it's going to be super optimal. And if you do it with 20 grams of carbohydrates in you and depleted on fat, it's going to be amazing. I'm sure there's someone out there that will give you that information because it sounds cool, but it's fucking wrong. Usually the boring information about it kind of doesn't really matter is actually the right answer. But hey, we're here to try and make the boring middle ground and the right answers sound a little bit more fun and interesting and sexy. So hopefully we've achieved that. Now, before you disappear, if you are wanting to get started with maybe accelerating your progress towards that body you want, so whether it's you want to be leaner, you want to be healthier, you want to be fitter, all of these different sorts of things where you want to look good naked, you want to bump uglies with the lights on, and maybe you want to, in the future, be a good role model for your kids in terms of your health, your body image, all these different sorts of things, and you want to help accelerating to that goal, then feel free to come and talk to me about how online coaching with me can help you get there in the fastest possible time. So you can click the link in the comments section for you to go and look at my application page and book a call with me. We can talk about where you are right now, where you want to get to, what you're struggling with. And if we connect, then cool, let's get it on, as Marvin Gaye used to say. Cool. So I hope you enjoyed this little bit of training, answered all your questions. All I'm going to say is thanks very much for listening. Thanks very much for watching. Keep living the lean life, and I'll see you for the next one.